This man is absolutely cooked. Career over. Him and the 15-year-old girl that was found chopped up in his trunk, oh, they knew each other since as early as 2022 when she was 12.
You're jolted awake by the image of flashing red and blue lights cutting through the darkness as federal agents swarm the property of rising music star D4vd's. In the early hours of the morning, authorities executed a raid on his Los Angeles home, the culmination of days of mounting speculation surrounding the Tesla scandal. Neighbors reported the sudden appearance of black SUVs, unmarked vans, and uniformed agents, their voices commanding and their flashlights scanning the property. Within minutes, what had once been a quiet residential street transformed into the center of a high-stakes investigation that now has David at the very heart of it. Officials have not released the full scope of what they were searching for, but law enforcement sources confirmed the raid was tied directly to new evidence uncovered in the ongoing investigation into the decomposed body discovered in his impounded Tesla earlier this month. That discovery, a grim, decomposed figure found in the vehicle's front trunk, shocked the music world and ignited questions about how such a tragedy became linked to the young artist. The victim, 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, had been missing since spring 2024, and the circumstances of her death remain unresolved. The federal raid marks a significant escalation. Witnesses described agents moving quickly through the property, with some entering the house while others formed a perimeter. Though no arrests were immediately announced, boxes and digital equipment were seen being carried out, suggesting investigators believe crucial material could be inside. For fans who had watched David's rise from an internet breakthrough to mainstream recognition, the sight of federal agents combing through his home paints a disturbing new chapter in an already harrowing case. The questions now swirl. What evidence led to this sudden move, and does it tie David more closely to the case than he's publicly admitted? As cameras caught agents leaving the scene, the mystery only deepened, leaving the public to wonder whether this raid is the turning point that finally cracks the case wide open. You hear the whispers first. Rumor has it federal agents stormed into David's Los Angeles home, and the internet hasn't stopped buzzing since. Social media posts describe unmarked vehicles lining the block, neighbors peeking from windows, and agents carrying out boxes as if they'd found something big. None of it has been officially confirmed, but the very idea of a federal raid tied to the young singer has thrown gasoline on a fire that was already raging. The alleged raid comes on the heels of the grisly Tesla discovery that linked David's name to one of the most disturbing cases in recent memory: the decomposed body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, found stuffed inside the front trunk of his impounded vehicle. That single revelation sent shockwaves through Los Angeles, and now the possibility of a federal raid raises even bigger questions. Was new evidence uncovered that finally pushed authorities to act? Or is this just another wave of speculation amplified by the chaos online? For fans, the image is hard to reconcile. David built his reputation on moody, emotional tracks that connected with millions, yet his name keeps circling darker and darker headlines. And for investigators, the stakes are clear. If a raid really did happen, it means they believe there's something inside his home that could blow this case open. Whether fact or rumor, the story has exploded across every corner of the internet, feeding theories, outrage, and fear about just how deep this situation goes. And for David, it's no longer just about a car and an impound lot. His very home may now be part of the case. The rumor of a federal raid wouldn't sting so sharply if it weren't for the horrifying discovery that started all of this. It was at a Hollywood tow yard where workers first noticed a foul odor seeping from an impounded Tesla registered to David. When police responded and opened the vehicle's front trunk, they found a decomposed body stuffed inside a bag. The gruesome nature of the discovery stunned even seasoned officers who immediately called in investigators to process the scene. That body was later identified as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, a girl who had been reported missing from Lake Elsinore more than a year earlier. Her case had long haunted her family and community, but no one could have imagined that her remains would surface in a car tied to one of music's fastest rising stars. The sheer contrast between her tragic disappearance and the glamorous world surrounding David's career created a storm of media attention that hasn't slowed down since. Investigators confirmed that the remains were in an advanced state of decomposition, making it difficult to determine an immediate cause of death. The medical examiner's office eventually listed the cause as deferred, pending further study. That left only more unanswered questions. How long had the body been inside the vehicle? Who placed it there? And why was it in a car registered to David in the first place? The singer's representatives quickly issued statements saying he was cooperating fully with authorities, but that did little to quiet speculation. Fans and critics alike pointed to inconsistencies. Was the car really abandoned in the Hollywood Hills for weeks before being towed? as some neighbors claimed? Or was it just a matter of days before the discovery? The timeline itself became part of the mystery, with conflicting reports fueling suspicion from every angle. At this point, the case had shifted from a missing person investigation to a full-scale criminal inquiry. And with the possibility of a federal raid hanging in the air, it's clear investigators believe there's far more to uncover than what was first revealed in that tow yard. Before the Tesla discovery, Celeste Rivas was already a name etched into missing person databases and community flyers. She was just 15 years old when she vanished from Lake Elsinore, a suburban stretch of Riverside County where her family had been living. Those closest to her described a girl with a restless energy, sometimes rebellious, sometimes reserved, but always searching for her place in the world. Reports show she had run away a few times before, only to return home days later. But in the spring of 2024, she disappeared permanently, and this time there would be no return. Her family sounded the alarm immediately, launching social media campaigns and working with local law enforcement to get her face and name out into the public. The case gained traction, but not enough to reach national headlines, overshadowed by a flood of other missing teen stories that rarely get the attention they deserve. To her relatives, though, every day was a battle against fading hope. Candlelight vigils were held. Flyers were taped to lampposts and posted in stores. Friends shared her pictures online, clinging to the possibility she was still out there. The discovery inside David's Tesla turned their private grief into a public spectacle. Suddenly, Celeste wasn't just another missing teenager whose case might fade into silence. She became the center of a headline so disturbing it spread across the globe. To learn that her decomposed body had been hidden inside the vehicle of a rising music star added a layer of shock that her family never could have prepared for. They had prayed for closure, but not in this way, not tied to such a high-profile and grotesque setting. Law enforcement agencies were forced to reassess the case from every angle. What had once been viewed as a disappearance with few leads was now a homicide investigation linked to an industry figure whose music had reached millions. For Celeste's family, the questions multiplied, not only about how she died, but why her remains ended up in that car, and whether justice will ever cut through the glare of fame and speculation. As if the discovery inside the Tesla wasn't chilling enough, whispers of a deeper connection began spreading online. Central to that speculation was a tattoo, the word "she" inked onto the right index finger. When investigators first identified Celeste Rivas, they noted the marking as one of the few features that had survived the advanced decomposition. Her mother later confirmed it, explaining that Celeste had the tattoo in red ink, a detail that added both weight and heartbreak to the identification process. Not long after, social media users began circulating photos of David himself, pointing out what looked like the exact same tattoo in black ink on his own finger. Side-by-side comparisons flooded timelines, suggesting more than coincidence. Fans who had once seen the tattoo as part of David's artistic persona were suddenly forced to view it through a far darker lens. Could it really be possible that the missing girl and the rising singer shared the same permanent marking? Or was the similarity being exaggerated by the internet's hunger for scandal? The media seized on the speculation. Headlines from outlets ranging from TMZ to local California stations framed the tattoo as a potential link, fueling theories that there was a relationship between Celeste and the artist. Yet, the facts remain less conclusive. Reports indicate Celeste's tattoo was done in red ink, while David's appears in black. The placement is similar, but investigators have never confirmed that the tattoos were intentionally matching. For them, the marking is just one identifying factor, not proof of connection or guilt. Still, for the public, the detail carries an undeniable weight. Tattoos aren't just designs, they're choices, often signifying personal meaning or relationships. The idea of two people sharing the same ink creates a symbolic bond, whether real or imagined. And in a case already filled with unanswered questions, this rumor was enough to ignite another wave of outrage, confusion, and fear. It left many wondering, is this tattoo a breadcrumb leading to something bigger, or simply a tragic coincidence magnified by the spotlight? The tattoo rumor, combined with the Tesla discovery and whispers of a federal raid, sent the internet into overdrive. Within hours, TikTok feeds were filled with side-by-side photos comparing David's finger tattoo to Celeste's. Twitter threads stretched for dozens of posts, dissecting every angle of their supposed connection. On Instagram, fan pages that once celebrated his music now became hubs for debates, some defending the singer as a victim of circumstance, others convinced the tattoo was proof of something darker. For many fans, the emotional whiplash was overwhelming. David had built his career on raw, heartfelt tracks like "Here With Me," songs that resonated with teenagers and young adults navigating love and loss. To see his name tangled in a narrative involving a missing minor, a decomposed body, and now a supposed matching tattoo felt almost unreal. Some admitted they couldn't bring themselves to listen to his songs anymore, while others doubled down on their support, insisting the internet was crucifying him without evidence. News outlets amplified the chaos, cherry-picking the most viral posts and turning speculation into headlines. TMZ highlighted the tattoo match. Local Los Angeles stations covered the timeline of the impound lot discovery. Even mainstream publications leaned into the rumor of a federal raid, treating it as a potential escalation. The result was a cycle where fact and rumor blurred into one narrative too gripping to ignore. The Rivas family, meanwhile, was thrust into the eye of the storm. For them, this wasn't about gossip or clicks, it was about justice for Celeste. Their grief was now magnified by millions of strangers dissecting the smallest details of her life, her body, and her death. To see the tattoo she once proudly showed off with friends now used as potential evidence in a scandal was another cruel twist in a story already soaked in tragedy. What made the reaction even more intense was timing. David had recently been canceling shows, with reports of him cooperating with authorities, making headlines. Fans began connecting dots, whether real or imagined, and the lack of clarity from investigators only poured fuel on the fire. In a digital age where perception often outweighs proof, the court of public opinion had already begun handing down its verdict. While the public debates tattoos and rumors of raids, investigators are working behind closed doors, and their silence has only sharpened curiosity. From the moment the Tesla was opened at the tow yard, officials have been careful with their words. The coroner's office listed Celeste Rivas's cause of death as deferred, a technical term that means they don't yet have enough information to reach a conclusion. That detail alone suggests they are waiting on toxicology reports, digital forensics, or other forms of evidence before revealing anything definitive. The timeline has also become a sticking point. Some neighbors claimed the Tesla had been parked in the Hollywood Hills for weeks, maybe longer, before it was impounded. Others say it sat in the tow yard only a matter of days before the odor was reported. These conflicting accounts create gaps that investigators have to reconcile. Did someone use the car while it was abandoned? Was the body already inside when it was towed? Or did something happen after the impound that hasn't yet been revealed? None of those questions have been publicly answered, leaving the case open to speculation. Then there's the alleged raid. Law enforcement has not officially confirmed that federal agents searched David's home. Still, multiple outlets have hinted at new evidence, pushing authorities to act more aggressively. If that evidence exists, it could range from digital data, messages, Jeep's logs, surveillance footage, to physical items tied directly to Celeste's disappearance. The fact that boxes and equipment were reportedly carried out of the property feeds the idea that investigators are building a case that stretches beyond the Tesla itself. But for now, officials are holding their cards close. They've offered no clear suspect, no timeline of events, and no public theory on how Celeste ended up in that car. To the public, the secrecy feels like a vacuum, and in that vacuum, speculation thrives. To investigators, though, the silence may be strategic, an attempt to avoid tipping off anyone who might be implicated, or to ensure that evidence is airtight before they reveal their hand. The only certainty is this: if new evidence has truly been uncovered, it signals that the case is evolving, not stagnating. And with every passing day of silence, the possibility grows that authorities are preparing for a dramatic turn that could change the trajectory of this entire investigation. As the case deepens, one truth becomes harder to ignore. David now lives under a cloud that may not lift anytime soon. His home, once a sanctuary of creativity, is whispered about as a potential crime scene. His car, once a symbol of success, is forever tied to the discovery of a decomposed teenager. And his tattoo, once seen as an edgy artistic flourish, has been reimagined as a potential clue in a story that refuses to let go of the public's imagination. For fans, the split is brutal. Some still stream his songs, arguing that the headlines are built on speculation and coincidences, not proof. Others have turned away entirely, unable to separate the music from the imagery of police tape, tow yards, and whispered raids. For Celeste's family, though, the music and fame mean nothing. Their focus is on justice, on piecing together how a girl who once filled their home with laughter ended up reduced to headlines and hashtags. Authorities, meanwhile, continue their silence. Every rumor of new evidence, every unconfirmed detail of a raid, every viral clip of fans debating tattoos becomes another thread in a story that no one fully understands yet. And that's what makes it all the more haunting. The answers exist, but they remain buried in sealed reports, unreleased autopsies, and evidence logs the public can't see. You're left to wonder when the truth finally emerges. Will it confirm the darkest suspicions that have gripped millions, or will it expose just how far rumor and speculation can spiral in the absence of clarity?